Good morning, everyone. I am waiting for my girl Dee to log on and join us. So happy Thanksgiving, you guys. Let me write Dee a quick little note. What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? Let me know what your thoughts are, what you're doing here. And sorry for the slow start here this morning. Dee is going to be logging on here in a minute here. And I've been talking about a few things on Facebook, and the other day I was talking about just different ways to, tips for the holidays, different things that we're going to be encountering, challenges that we're encountering. And here is Dee. Okay, you guys. I thought you were leaving me all by myself.
Sorry, I was just a little delayed with the client this morning, so.
Okay. All right, you guys. Now we can start the show. Dee has arrived. So, of course, Dee is at Red Cliff PharmaSave in Medicine Hat, Alberta, in Canada, and they are not having Thanksgiving. But I'm over here, and this week I'm down in Palm Desert. So, at Reformation Body Solutions, we have two clinics, and one is in Northern California in Los Gatos, and our second clinic is down here in Palm Desert. So, if you are a snowbird, come on by, because we work with everybody. And if you just need to buy product, we have a store, or if you need to do weigh-ins, we can work with your clinic coach. So we got lots of snowbirds down here. Okay, so Dee and I are going to be talking about holiday tips today. Since we didn't have our weekly cooking show, I thought we would just jump on Thanksgiving morning and say hello to everybody and give you guys some tips. So if you're on the live broadcast, number one, do me a favor and push the share button. The more we share, the more we care. And also, if you would send us your likes, your hearts, and ask us your questions. So this is a good time. This is a Q&A session, and it's not just me and Dee talking, but we want to hear from you guys. What's your question? So if you guys have questions, please put them in the comments section. Tell us where you're from and what's going on for you today. What's your plan? What's your plan? I've been talking a lot about what's your plan this week. Okay, so Dee, tell us what's going on in Medicine Hat, and Dee has given me a list of things we're going to go over. So introduce yourself and tell us what's going on.
Happy Thanksgiving to all our American friends today. We already celebrated over a month ago, oh my gosh, almost like 6 weeks ago. So we have a little bit more break and reprieve in between our Thanksgiving and Christmas. But today we're going to kind of go over a list that really encompasses all holidays, but especially at this time of the year can maybe help you out. So even if you're a little bit behind in your planning for this Thanksgiving holiday, we're going to get you in shape for the Christmas one as well. So we'll go over a few things here today for sure.
Yeah, and all these tips are, they help us. They inspire other people, and they're not just about losing weight. They're about, real life strategies, real life questions, things that we encounter all year long. And I know for you, Dee has lost over 100 pounds. I've lost 65 pounds 3 times in my life. And, the thing is just, for me, I know probably for you too, Dee, is just being consistent and having some consistent strategies that you use all the time. And we all go off track. You know, last night we were sitting around the table. It's the night before Thanksgiving. We have company in town. And this is something I normally don't do. But, you know, the chocolate truffles came out. And, yep, I popped a few. So, yeah. It's confession time. All right, you guys. If you're just jumping on, tell us where you're from. Tell us what you're doing today, what your challenges are. Put your questions in the comments section because we're going to only be on for about 30 minutes and doing some suggestions, some tips. So, okay, here we go. The first one is budget.
So on our journey to health, many factors come into play that trip us up, that might deviate us, that get really mentally tough on us. And one of those things is it's budget. And so for many protocol users out there, your protocol is part of your budget. And so then we head into things like the holiday season and things like extra gifts, extra food, maybe there's traveling involved. All sorts of maybe extra expenses could be on the brink and cause you a lot of stress. And so we know stress and anxiety are often, they come into play when people deviate because they feel weak, they feel stressed, they feel like they need to turn to comfort things. And so this one's really tough to talk about, but you are either going to, and you know what, Melissa and I were talking about this morning already, you're planning or you're planning to fail. And it sounds harsh, but it is reality. So if you keep, so if you're in an appointment and you're talking to your coach and you're like, but, you're planning to fail. You're already looking for the excuses to not execute what you need to do. And it's a tough one. It really is. So I'm not ever saying that, that these feelings aren't real. They're not there. But budget. So this is like, let's get down and dirty. So do you need to be spending money on extra unnecessary gifts for family and friends and others? Purchasing things that you might not be able to afford or are not necessary. They need to be, kicked to the curb. There are many wonderful things that you can do for family and loved ones and friends that don't require money being spent on gifts. So if you have any ideas or you have a favorite there, please type them in the comments. Let's talk about them. The same with food. This time of the year when we go and do our grocery shopping, it is so easy to put a gazillion extras in the cart that you yourself don't need, your family doesn't need, your friends don't necessarily need it. But we have this, I don't know why it's inbred into our psyche that we have to have all this stuff on the tables, on the side tables. At Christmas time, you walk into somebody's home that's having a gathering and there's just usually there's just garbage everywhere. And I'm going to call it garbage. And I know that sounds a little bit offensive, but it's so unnecessary. And then when it's there, it's calling your name or you have a hard time walking past it. But it also breaks into the budget. It's very expensive. You know what? All your Christmas candies, chocolates, truffles, tons of extra, we tend to buy pop, booze, keep your list going, keep the things where you end up spending extra money. Disposable cutlery, or fancy dishes or serving dishes and wrapping paper and decorations. And I mean, this season is the season of blow the budget is what this season is. So one thing that I want you to really, really practice in this is really, really tough. But you should really try to get through your holiday season with the 4-letter word called cash. CASH. If you've got to swipe a credit card, then you have to really, really think about, do I need this? Is it necessary? What can I do to avoid it? So I don't know, Renee, any tips or ideas on budget?
Well, I think that putting yourself, having priorities, And I talked about this earlier this week on my Reformation page, and I was talking about how we develop all these pressures for ourselves because we think we have to buy things for people, and we've got this huge list. And one of the things I did in my late 30s is I told all of my friends, look, during the year, we're just going to spend time together. This thing about having to run out and buy you a candle and you something else and you something else and trying to find all these things. Number one, it puts so much pressure on me. I feel just like I don't even enjoy the holiday because I feel so much pressure to buy stupid stuff for people. And so how about if during the year we choose to pick a time we spend together, maybe we have dinner with all the girls once a month at somebody else's house. We do things that, and if I find something that's really you, I'm just going to give it to you because I saw it, because it was meaningful at that moment. So yeah, budget is definitely, I don't know if budget's the right word for it, but also just not putting the pressure on yourself to buy all this extra stuff that we don't need. And I totally agree with you, Dee. When I moved out of my last house, I had a bigger home, and the stuff that came out of the attic that I was just shaking my head like, ridiculous. The Christmas decorations, the Halloween decorations, this, that, the other. It was totally crazy, all the stuff that I ended up giving away because I was moving to a townhouse. So yes, love this topic, and I think also it's really about putting a lot of pressure on yourself and releasing that pressure from yourself. And when we don't have that pressure, we don't have that stress, we're not going to be, freaked out and feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed. I need a drink. I need, some candies that are sitting over here. So that's my 2 cents on that. Okay. So the next thing, our next topic is family. So really, family's a tough one where we really, yeah, you talk about family.
So without going into details, because everybody's going to have their own story, right? So with family during the holiday season, it includes today for Thanksgiving. Do not feel obligated to do things that you do not want to do. So if family has made extensive, excessive plans to do activities or food-related restaurants, eating, other activities, you do not have to feel obligated to do things you don't want to do. And that encompasses a lot of things. I'm going to break it down a little bit, but you need to set boundaries and you need to communicate that with whether it's friends, families, relatives, extended, and there's no need to be rude or harsh or any of those kind of things. You just need to communicate and set boundaries. It's really important. So during the holiday season, if you are hosting friends and family or vice versa, you're going somewhere, there are some few little tips that I'm going to attach to the family bracket. It would fill into other places as well, but I feel this is really, really important. So your routine, okay, whether you are on protocol or you are in maintenance, your routine for your success is very, very important to you, for you. So there are some things that I'm just going to kind of do bulletin points here, but you can see how they can encompass into communicating your wants and needs. So your sleep is really, really important. Your sleep is really important. So it doesn't matter if it's special occasions or holidays. So if you have company over to your house and you know that you still need your 6 hours or 5 hours or 8 hours of sleep, please don't feel like you have to be a slave to your company. You should not be waking up 2 hours before your company to serve a breakfast spread. You can show your company where the coffee pot is, and you can have simple things in your refrigerator, like, you know, fruit, yogurt, leftover casserole. It doesn't matter. You can let them know that if they are early risers, here's the goods, help yourself. And then once you're up and starting your day, whatever your plan is, then continue. Do not skip your own meals, breakfast, eating routine. So if you are on protocol and you usually have your breakfast at 8 o'clock, and it is whether it's a simple or involved breakfast, continue that. Skipping meals leads to overindulgence later in the day. 100%, tons of proof behind that. So don't start it today. Don't start it today. So if y'all hadn't gone out and had your breakfast yet, eat your breakfast. I don't care if you're in maintenance. I don't care how much family is sitting around. You get that breakfast in you. Get on track. Stay on track. If you're going out, if you're going to be doing holiday activities, shopping, those types of things, again, eat before you leave. You get those snacks in your purse. You go prepared. So no matter if they're stopping in a food court or a fancy restaurant or whatever, wherever you all live, I know it's really different. We're encompassing a lot of different states, so your traditions or your food, you need to be on top of that. Don't use a holiday as an excuse to throw it out the window today. Renee had an excellent one yesterday that I listened to, and it was about the grocery delivering. So Renee, I'm going to flip that one back over to you. We do have it. We do have it.
One thing I love, you know, and some of this stuff I've learned over the years, and some of this has cost me a lot of money in therapy, but don't try to be things that you're not. So one of the things that I always wanted to have everything perfect. I always want to have, you know, just, I want to be, I think I can pretty much do everything. So, but I also have another thing, which comes from childhood is, you know, I feel the need to be perfect. So, if you have that feel the need, let it go. Because we're not perfect, we're not going to be perfect, and you know, when we put that pressure on ourselves, again, more stress, more pressure. But so one of the things I learned was figure out how to delegate. So if you have people that, you know, particularly on a holiday, if you delegate all the tasks out, you make a salad, you make the, you know, whatever, the potatoes, the green beans, the whatever, everybody does what they do well, then you're not having this whole pressure of cooking and cooking and cleaning and cooking and all this stuff. The one thing that I have added is I've figured out how to have my groceries delivered. I very, very rarely go into the store unless I'm going to go to Whole Foods and go to the salad bar and make myself a salad. I really don't do any shopping anymore. So there's a thing called Instacart. And it may not be in all areas. I know it's throughout California, but I can get the other day I got an order from Costco. So we got all our stuff for our barbecue. Last night we barbecued, we had fillets, and so we got all of that delivered. We went right on Instacart, boom, it was delivered within a 1 hour period of time. But at home, if I'm going to use Sprouts or Whole Foods or my local gourmet store or Safeway or Ralph's or whatever stores, Vons, whatever stores you guys have in your area, Instacart delivers from them. They deliver from Petco, so you can get your pet supplies too. But seriously, use this service. It's $7. How much is your time worth? It's $7, $4, whatever. You can buy a $99 membership to it. I will put my referral code in the comment section, and that way you get $10 off your first order. But seriously, use these shopping apps. There's a bunch of shopping apps out there. I think Instacart's the best because it covers a whole bunch of stores. So, you know, if you use Prime, you're only going to get, I think, the Prime and, you know, Whole Foods and Amazon. But if you use Instacart, INSTA cart. Okay, so I gave that tip. Can you tell I'm like totally passionate about it?
Awesome. It is awesome. We have something I know locally that's like, it's some of the stores do like click and collect. So even if you don't have it delivered, you can literally go online, click everything you need, pull up in front of the grocery store, out to your vehicle, done. So huge time saver, huge stress saver.
Right, exactly.
And it stops you from putting things in your
cart too. I know.
Right?
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying to my girlfriend yesterday. I was like, guess what? We're not out at Costco buying stuff we don't need. Speaking of the budget. Okay, so the next one. Okay, by the way, if you are out here and you're watching us, tell us where you're from. Tell us what you're going to be doing today. Happy Thanksgiving, happy Turkey Day. And also tell us what your challenges are so we can talk about those this morning. All right, the next one we're going to talk about is overindulgence.
Yep. And it also ties into family and the budget. So they all, if you can, you know, we're all going to connect back to each other here, so which is really important. Overindulgence. It leads to guilt, it leads to stress, it leads to shame after the fact. Those are my bulletin points on overindulgence. And again, does not matter if you are in protocol or if you are in maintenance. Again, it's not that you can never have a treat, but let's just keep things real and in check. If you blow the budget on buying a whole bunch of crap that you shouldn't be in your house, you're more likely to overindulge. And so
worried about the credit card bills when it comes.
And then if you don't control the family dynamics, family, friends, whatever dynamics, and you have all those other stressors in those, you might be more likely to indulge. So the long and the short of it is, then there's a lot of guilt and shame and stress attached to overindulgence. So we need to plan and prepare, do our normal days. One thing about overindulgence, and I know you're visiting, it's very social. You need to be proactive and you need to have trays of things that you can have out. So, you know, have generous vegetable trays. If you're phase 4, have generous meat and cheese and pickle trays out. Phase 1, shrimp rings, pickles, pickled asparagus, like fun holiday foods, but that, you're not going to blow your waistline budget. And then, if you overindulge in a little bit of shrimp and veggies, we're going to be able to live with that. Our waistline's going to be able to live with that. We're not going to be stressed because we're not going to get on the scale in 3 days and go, ah! So.
Or tomorrow. Yeah, for sure. So we have Dottie said she's from Olympia, Washington, and she is cooking turkey dressing, roasted tomatoes, cauliflower mash. Good for you. That's awesome. And you know what? That's all going to taste great and be delicious, and you're going to feel good when you wake up tomorrow because you stayed focused and you didn't overindulge. And I think, whether you're trying to watch your weight or whether you're maintaining your weight, the bottom line is we don't need 3 plates of food. We don't need to, go crazy because it's one meal. Make the celebration about people. And I think that, in the long run, that was something I really had to learn because, my way of rewarding myself, especially if I was feeling stressed, would be to completely go, overboard. So if I went to a restaurant, I would have the appetizer, the soup, the salad, the entree, the dessert. And along with that, I would have, of course, a cocktail to start with, wine with dinner, after dinner drink, and a coffee. Now, can you imagine what my body was feeling like in doing all of that? And then, of course, I would go home and bust my pant button open and be like, oh man, and I didn't even know there was anything wrong with that. So, I've had to learn mindful eating practices, how to undo all of that. And some of it is just from childhood, where we're taught clean your plate and eat everything on your plate. So if you fill up 3 plates of food today on Thanksgiving Day, and you're, always used to eating everything on your plate, whoa. And so just being really mindful and having a plan when you sit down for dinner today. Okay, Dee, the next one we're going to talk about is isolation and loneliness, and the holidays can be a tough time for this.
They really can. So you can tell, again, we've been talking a lot about family, friends, social interaction, budgets, those kind of things, but we also need to be really real about that. This isn't always, holidays are not always, I'm lacking words here, but it can be a time of extreme loneliness and isolation. So whether you don't have a large family, you might be, for say you might be an only child, maybe you don't have lots of cousins and aunts and uncles. Maybe you've never found somebody to spend your life with. Maybe you don't want to find somebody to spend your life with. There's all different types of dynamics. Also, maybe at this time of the year, it brings to the surface sad memories of loved ones lost, or those types of things. So the holidays, for that, so we're going to talk about a few different things here. So maybe it's going to be a time of year where you're going to be looking for a new hobby in a group setting. Maybe it's going to be on a mission to volunteer for nonprofit groups. It can be very rewarding and satisfying, and it is really coming together with other people who are doing the same thing. So really building a sense of community around you at this time. Thanksgiving right through Christmas, the extended holidays, there is lots of opportunities for this. So there are different, in each specific community, there are free holiday activities usually as well. So for anybody out there watching, so maybe you don't need them, but if you know of these kind of examples in your community where other people can reach out and go, please list them in the comments. I think it's really important because we don't want anybody to have the feeling of desperation, loneliness, or isolation during this time of the year. Again, those feelings might be evoked from lack of budget, lack of family, those types of things too. So again, they are kind of circling back. If you know that this is a tough season for you, then you know what? You need to reach out to maybe coworkers, maybe some families, even families far away or friends are far away. Ask them to reach out to you. Ask them to check on you. Say, you know what? I need to have let's reach out and just get grounded with each other. That's okay to do. So you need to know, that that's okay, and to ask for help if you feel comfortable doing that, so that you're not having those feelings. So and the holidays, they can be a really great time to create new traditions. So if the holidays are lonely and sad for you because of, say, loss of loved ones, it's the big one that comes to mind, then maybe something to think about is starting new traditions based on things that your loved one was passionate about, or causes that they were interested in, or likes and loves that they had. So, so you're keeping their memory alive, but in more of a positive way. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So if you are jumping on here and you're on the live, tell us where you're from, tell us what you're doing today, and tell us your holiday challenges. Dottie here says, happy Thanksgiving to you both and your families. Thank you so much, Dottie. That's really nice. Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to touch on in the isolation and loneliness is that, one of the things I always tell my clients is remember that food is not your friend. Food is fuel. So just talking a little bit about how we have that old relationship with food, breaking those habits. When you know you're heading to do something, you're reaching for the truffles that I ate, like I don't even know how many last night. And if you do that, the only thing I said to myself was I have a horrible stomach ache. That was not smart. I remember why I don't eat 10 truffles at a time, or one, quite frankly. But, when you do something like that, number one, you just stop it right there. Okay, done. It happened. It's over. You don't keep rolling down the road. Well, I just had 10 truffles, so I may as well have 10 of these and 25 of these. And, we all have that little thing we can do, which is called the other thing, the overindulgence subject. All of these subjects cross over, right? But, so when we are feeling isolation and loneliness, we do tend to probably overindulge and do old past behaviors. So my suggestion is there's a cool place online called meetup.com, and try going to Meetup, finding groups that are doing, there's hiking groups, there's photography groups, there's dancing groups, there's all kinds of groups. There's groups in your age range. There's support groups for weight loss or whatever things you have going on. There's some kind of support group out there. Join those groups and make new friends. And if your family is far away, get on FaceTime with them, see their faces, talk to them, spend a half an hour today FaceTiming with all the people that you miss. And, it's okay to cry a little. It's okay, but then we want you to be happy. And so here we have Corey says, checking in today, Medicine Hat, Alberta for day one. Oh, okay. Awesome. Congratulations. Day one, Red Cliff Pharmacy. Nervous, but I can do this. Food is not my friend, and I have a very unhealthy relationship with food. D is fab. I can do this. That is awesome. Corey, thanks for sharing those words, because all of these comments that you guys put out there, we feel very private about our feelings, and a lot of times we feel like we're the only one in this. Guess what? You have an entire tribe, a huge community out here that feels all the same stuff, and it helps us when we have these talks and question and answers. It really helps a lot of people that watch not only live but in the replay. So those are my thoughts on isolation and loneliness. Really, don't use food for those reasons. There's lots of things you can do. Okay, so our next topic is losses during the holidays.
So we kind of touched on that in the loneliness and isolation part. Again, really kind of all encompasses back together. Unfortunately, we can't change losses. So whether it's loss of jobs, loss of a spouse, death, all those, because losses don't just mean physically not on earth anymore, but we all may somewhere along the line loss of friendship, loss of things that were important to us. Sometimes with the loss of health will also come into this. When you are unhealthy, you lose the ability to do many things in your life, and so we want to slowly rebuild back to those healthy spots. So one day at a time. So loss might mean very many different things to you. Again, so if it's actually the loss of loved ones, then I'm going to put you back again to celebrating their memories in meaningful and positive ways, instead of just attaching sadness and despair to those. Forge forward on, say if you've lost, I don't know, let's just use like marriage, like say a relationship has ended, and it's, with that comes a whole new gamut of things to relearn. Well, you know what, it might be really hard, but let's start on day one, and we're going to focus on, maybe it's focusing on yourself, maybe it's focusing on new relationships, maybe new friends, or just a new positive group and outlook. And again, that's going to tie back into the, maybe you need to do some volunteering and community work. Again, I'm really pushy about this one, because at this time of the year, I don't think that we can do enough. There's so many things we can do. I don't think there is enough we can do, but I'm going to contradict myself right here, because the tiniest thing that you go do makes a huge impact in your community. It makes a huge impact to your social and mental well-being. It is very good to give. And again, that doesn't have to be attached to anything monetary. 5 minutes of your time, 10 minutes of your time, whether you're going to go, feed the homeless, whether you're going to crochet a toque, whether you're going to go wrap presents, at your local nonprofit. It just keep them coming. Keep your ideas coming. Maybe you're going to go sing in a church choir. Maybe you're going to go caroling door to door. Maybe you're going to go work in a soup kitchen. Maybe you're going to get a group of people together and you're going to pack Operation Shoe Boxes. And maybe you're going to send them overseas, or maybe you're going to do it for the needy right in your own community. Right now in our own community, there's so many local ladies that are doing so many awesome things. And I say ladies, it includes men. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just, and it's inspiring, and it's awesome. I love this time of year for the spirit of giving, because it seems to die down a little bit throughout the other 10 months, but November and December, everybody really does get on board with that goodness. And so we just really need to keep that going. Yeah.
I totally love that. And I have a client, Marianne, who when she comes to a workshop, she's knitting, and I'm like, oh, what are you knitting? And she's like, I'm knitting boobs. And I'm like, boobs? She's like, yeah, I knit boobs for the breast cancer. I guess that you stuff them in your bra or so. I don't know what you do with them, but yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So thanks, Corey, for telling us your tribe can define your vibe. I like that one, because, honestly, one of the things that I had to do, again, part of my process in becoming healthier, and also just creating the best me that I could possibly be, happened over a long period of time. It's happened over the last 30 years. And I really started becoming more self-aware in my late 20s. I had a friend who sent me to therapy. She's like, you know what? You're awesome, but you really need to fix some things. So I did. I went and went diligently. But part of the process is removing people and things from your life that cause you drama and cause you problems and don't make your life good. And so surrounding ourselves with that tribe who gives us our vibe. I like that, Corey. Is really, really important. So having people around you that are supportive, and that's another thing that happens during the holidays is we are going to events and functions where we encounter people that we don't encounter all the time, and sometimes it's Aunt Susan, or, you know, people that make snide remarks about, oh, you're on a diet again, or, oh, you know, yeah, whatever, you may as well just keep eating at the dinner table because you're going to gain all your weight back anyway. You know, whatever the saying is, that people are rude, and, you know, not allowing those people to define you, and letting all that stuff just go, woo, okay. And also kind of throughout the year, removing those people, only seeing them once in a while, because they have definitely a negative effect on our vibe. Okay, so this is a really important one, seasonal affective disorder, and it's a real thing. And you can talk a little bit about that, Dee.
So it's the acronym is SAD. So again, seasonal affective disorder. That's what the Canadian Mental Health Association calls it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we do too.
Okay, awesome. So it's a type of depression that is related to the change in the season, and there's a whole host of symptoms. So I don't want anybody to just run out there and say, that's my problem. But we want to talk about this. It might include, and I'm just going to read them off here, okay? It might include tiredness, depression, mood changes, irritability, trouble concentrating, body aches, and you know, when you just don't know why your body aches, your scalp aches, the bottom of your feet ache, trouble concentrating, insomnia, decreased interest in activities that you usually love, and overeating are some of the biggest ones attached to seasonal disorder. And so again, we can talk about a lot of those things, but there are a few things that I just want to say about this right off the bat, is that you really, if you feel that this is something that encompasses you or might be part of your own personal journey, you really do need to reach out to your personal healthcare practitioner and mental health professionals. And if you're not sure where to start there, well, then your doctor or your healthcare practitioner should be able to help you for SAD. So seasonal affective disorder, or even if it's not that particular disorder, but you see in there that, oh yeah, you know, like I fall into a few of those categories, maybe I should go talk to somebody. Many times people are very proud and they don't want to ask for help, and they want to do it on their own, because you just get in that dig in where you say, nope, I can do this. I don't need help. I don't need other people's help. I don't want people to, you know that I need help. You know, when you go to a mental health professional and your doctor, it is private, it is confidential. And very oftentimes, you know what, you might not even know why you feel. You know, some people may have had specific traumas in their life where they need help, and it's okay to ask for help. And it doesn't matter if you're needing help from 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 30, it does not matter. And maybe you don't really know why you need help. And so that's a great reason to try and to go see the help. Now, as a coach in a clinic, I can help you with protocol. I can help you with thoughts. I can help you with ideas. This is not our line of expertise. So we need to pass you on to people that this is their line of expertise. This is their role. And I think it's just a really big part of these journeys, is that it is something that I think almost every single client out there should explore. And there is also, so I know in Canada, there are private practitioners and there are public practitioners. And so your doctor can also point you down the road into the ones you need in case you do not have health benefits through work and stuff like that, where you can still access care.
Yeah. You know what? I always say everybody needs some therapy. And, you know, if you don't have a budget for something like that, there are so many YouTube things to watch. There's so many books to read. Immerse yourself. You can listen to books. Immerse yourself in things that bring positivity to you. One of my favorites is The Secret, and literally I listen to that a couple of times a year. It's just bringing that positivity to you, making you think about things in a different way. Because sometimes when we get kind of in a funk, we can't, see the forest through the trees kind of thing. So we need to be able to introspect. Journaling is super important. And I talked yesterday about gratitude journaling over on one of my groups. And if you need some support during this time, I have my Maintain Don't Gain group. I'll leave you guys a comment about that so you can join up for that. So what we're doing during the holidays is just kind of giving, I'll be doing like a once a week live on their Q&A, but also just holding each other accountable, giving each other tips, listening to what other people are doing, what their strategies are, and just maintaining. Like, you can still keep, if you're losing weight, you can still hang out with us too. We want you to do that. But if your goal is to get through the holidays from start to finish, same weight in, same weight out, come over and join us, because there's real strategies to it. But with seasonal affective disorder, also having your vitamin D levels checked, and especially in places where you don't have access to the sun all the time. It really can, not seeing the sun really, really can affect us. And there's actual like lights you can buy that give you that sun and will help you to boost your energy. I know the new red light therapy and near infrared therapy that we have in our office is really, really good for that. So if you have access to red and near infrared light, maybe at your gym, I know some gyms have those. Those are really great for just, getting all of our cells energized and for feeling good. And honestly, exercise, big one. Get some exercise, even if you're just doing some things at home or getting on the treadmill at the gym. Exercise gets our endorphins going. And I know when we're stressed out, we feel like we can't possibly do that. But you know what? I always say somewhere between 10 minutes and 2 hours are spent every single day in front of the TV or on social media. Use that time to get some exercise. Okay, so last but not least, and remember, you guys, if you're logging on, send us your hearts, your likes, share this out to other people so that they get the benefit from it. And always remember, every Wednesday we have the Dea Renee Low Carb Cooking Show. Dee's always creating awesome stuff. So here we go. Last but not least, don't set New Year's Eve or New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, so I'm just going to back up one step because Renee, you hit the nail on. So there's a little part like treatment may include, and so nutrition and vitamin D and exercise were in the 3, along with light therapy, psychotherapy, and possibly medication. So okay.
Hey.
All right. Do not set New Year's resolutions. Setting New Year's resolutions, whether it is in the new year or now, puts unnecessary pressure on you. It puts unnecessary pressure on your brain. If you want to make a resolution to change something, you start today. So resolutions to change things. Maybe it's going to be, okay, I am going to clean up my eating. And it's not about, I got to lose 5 pounds this week, or I got to lose 2 pounds this week, or I got to lose 10 pounds this week. That's not making a resolution. You're going to make maybe you're making today as your plan is, I'm going to plan. I'm going to start planning. I'm actually going to get that pencil and piece of paper and write my short-term goals and long-term goals. And I'm going to break it down, don't set unrealistic resolutions. Don't, maybe you do have 50 pounds to lose, but let's not say I just got to lose 50 pounds and I got to do it January 1st, because then what happens is you're giving yourself permission to go on a free-for-all for the next 6 weeks. And when January 1st rolls around, you are going to be miserable. You're going to be more miserable with yourself. And it is just, I have never met in 3 years, a client that ever came in and said to me, you know what, I was a total gong show, and I'm happy. Like, it doesn't happen. So yeah, so changing starts today. And even if you were in a good place, there are always little things that we can still change to make, make ourselves happier, a more improved version. Maybe happier is not the right word, but maybe even healthier. Maybe we need to learn how to get 15 more minutes of sleep a night. Maybe you really need 2 hours, but let's start with 15 minutes. You know what? Maybe you really need to learn how to decompress. Maybe you have to learn how to find, I had a client the other day. She was awesome because you know what? I'm going to tell you, I'm not interested in running 5Ks, 10Ks. I'm not interested in doing squats with those weights. And she said to me, you're silly. She says, you just have to find something that you enjoy doing and you actually don't realize that it's good for you. And I'm like, what? She's like, oh, she said, hell. She says, I go play pickleball at the gym with myself. She said, because it's a ton of fun. And she said, she goes, I don't even realize that I've exercised like till I'm done and I feel like $1 million. And she's like, I'm like, you're so smart. Like, those kind of things, right? Find things that you enjoy doing. Maybe you do, need to set a timer and say, I am going to read that book. I am going to read The Secret for 15 minutes every night, no matter what else is going on in my day. We tend to be in a big hurry. There's this like big competition in life that busy is better, and it's not. It's just not. Extending yourself to the point of where all the things that we talked about today are affecting your life. Busy is not better. We really need to sit down in our own personal lives. If you can't find balance between work and home and family and play, then it's going to be a big factor in everything that we're doing here too. And this is especially true during the holiday season. So, I mean, we could talk for another hour on those types of things. So, but yeah, so resolutions to do little changes in your world should start today and every day and not wait for the massive resolution. So it's going to be hard. If you know there's something that you don't like about yourself, who's responsible?
I really love that. Yeah.
So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. It include, you know what? That's a smack in my own face too, because when I'm having a tough day, I can think of all the other extenuating circumstances that make me feel that I can validate it. But when it comes down to it, I got to control that. And not saying that you have to fix every little thing today. It's a work in progress. So be kind to yourself. Be kind to, others around you, even when they're not kind to you. So one day at a time. So I'm going to turn the floor back to you because I'm just babbling now. So
I'm a big proponent of it doesn't matter when you start. So there is never ever going to be a good time to start anything, whether we're talking about weight loss, going to the gym, it doesn't really matter what the subject is. There's no good time to get started with anything. And if we have goals that we want to achieve, the best thing to do is not to overwhelm yourself. So what we tend to do is have all of our goals, like we're going to do them all. Okay, so I'm going to do this one, I'm going to do that one, I'm going to do the next one. And instead of doing that, why don't we create achievable goals that we can actually do little by little? So what I like to call them is mini goals. And a mini goal is something that you just start small. So if you say over the next 8 weeks, I'm going to create, I want to change these 6 things. So over the next 6 weeks, I'm going to do one mini goal. I'm going to start one mini goal at a time. So if that is, I'm going to start journaling, or I'm going to do a 15-minute walk. Instead of saying, oh boy, I'm going to work out 3 days a week and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do, my goal is to do 50 squats a day, 60 lunges a day. I mean, let's just be realistic and actually do something that you're going to do, and make them small things. Start with, if you want to add your different exercises, then do it in a way that you're going to do, 10 of these. I'm going to do those every day this week, or 3 days a week this week, and then add 10 more of something else. And so, breaking things down into achievable goals that you can actually achieve and feel good about. And so, yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Awesome.
So, yeah. All right, you guys. Is there anything else, anything anybody wants to add, or any other little last minute things you can think about, Dee?
Well, I wanted to encompass some other things about navigating the holiday, because I feel like on a daily basis and on a weekly basis, we really do talk a lot about the planning and preparing with the food aspect of things. We have a lot of great tools already online for you. So if you need a refresher, need some information on where to go find those again, please ask. I also know that in our coaching community, there's a ton of great coaches and centers out there also sharing their holiday recipes and strategies and desserts and things like that. So tons of support, online support out there. So please, access it, reuse it, reread it. Hearing it once is usually never enough. It's like hundreds of times, right? So so just don't be scared. If you need extra help from your own coach or clinic, even during this holiday season. So I know, some centers might be closed, but if you really, really do need help, still reach out to them. And so for all our American friends, if you need some help and your own clinics are closed, the Canadian clinics are open. Because we're not on holiday. So even sending messages that way. And I want to hear, you guys are all a little bit shy and quiet. I really want to hear the things that you're doing in your own communities, creating and building your sense of communities and wellness during this holiday season. So Thanksgiving is this weekend, or today, I guess, but I want to see good things happening all the way to Christmas. So we've got a month. And so I want to start seeing the goods.
So Dee, what do you and if you guys haven't watched the soup and bread show, I'm going to be right after this. I'm posting all the soup and bread recipes. But if you haven't watched that show, be sure to watch it because it's warm and yummy and comforting. What are you planning for next week?
Ooh, I want to do holiday appetizers, and so ones that are, phase 1 to phase 4 friendly. Again, I have a overnight French toast for you. Also for holiday breakfast. I wish I would have had it done for everybody today, but so that one's super fun. And I have a new little dessert that would fit onto your appetizer tray. So I know that sometimes during these awesome special occasions, I really want to promote having trays of food out and accessible that you can have all day to your snacking delight. So we're gonna feature some of those next week. And I mean, that list is also endless too. So if you have a favorite appetizer that you need to be made phase 1 friendly, let us know too, and we'll do our best to help you out there.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, you guys, happy Thanksgiving. If you're in Canada, just a happy day. It's just a regular day, right? Okay. Thanks, you guys. And if you're watching us in the replay, tell us where you're from, and we would love to see you. So remember, our low carb cooking show is every week, like clockwork. And so Wednesdays, we always have our cooking show. So bye-bye, you guys.
Happy Thanksgiving.